The biggest conversion driver on a product page is your actual description. It's how you describe your product. This has a profound effect on conversion rates. And so I'm constantly searching for product pages. Oftentimes, I don't find great examples, but every once in a while, I find a really good example. It might not be the exact way in which I would write copy or I would make my sales pitch, but it has so many wonderful elements. And so I'm hoping by sharing this with you, you'll be able to extract from this things that you can apply to your own product pages and get a massive impact on conversion rates. So let's go through. This is for a company that sells weights, um, you know, weights for weightlifting. And the first thing I like about it is that their image gallery, so like this image over here, is actually showing a cutout of the weight with details and benefits. So beveled edge for better grip, 100% virgin rubber, low dead bounce for safety. So now I know not only what the feature is, but what the benefit is. Then there's another one that this is called Texas Tough because they are manufactured in Texas. I actually think this is a very clever idea because it showed not only is it showing state pride, but it's actually showing that it's manufactured in Texas versus being manufactured offshore. And then they explain the benefits over here. So the first thing I liked was just this infographic. Now let's kind of go through the copy. I'm not going to focus on the design, but just pay attention to the copy. Fringe sport bumper plates are durable, so they'll absorb all the punishment you dish out. So a couple of things right off the bat. This kind of conversation or this kind of language is very conversational. This is exactly how a person who's into weightlifting would have a conversation with another friend who's also into weightlifting. So immediately the reader feels like, hey, they're talking to someone who's kind of from their tribe. So you'll add bigger loads to the bar and super weight. So you'll add bigger loads to the bar and super weight accurate. Better yet, unlearn everything you've learned about 10-pound bumpers and drop these at will. Now, this is really interesting as well. When someone says to the reader or to the customer, unlearn what you've learned, this is a sign of expertise because only experts would ever say that. So again, there's a lot of confidence here, and it's very well done. I think it's exactly what I'd like to communicate to the buyer because their skepticism is at the highest level when they start reading. Think about epic heroes like Luke Skywalker and Karate Kid. You too are called to training that will involve pain and suffering. So again, there's storytelling over here. Is this again? I'm not saying that we all have to use this. Sometimes it might be overplayed, but it's certainly better than a product page that has no storytelling at all. So I think this is really good, and you have to kind of improvise it for what's appropriate for your brand. I think there's a couple of things here that are really, really compelling. The quality of training determines the quality of the champion. Again, it's a trope. It's something that is relatable. But again, I really like this. One thing I really like about this is you'll notice that they're actually not talking about the product itself. They're actually talking about the philosophy of discipline. And actually, that's a very compelling way of selling weights to someone who's into weightlifting or is getting started with weightlifting. We want you to succeed, so we've hammered up bumper plates, alleviating you of any worries about their quality. Now he gets into the story part, which I think is genius for two reasons, and I'll tell you why. Every year, my dad would haggle with the Christmas tree dealer, telling him Jesse James had a gun, implying he was robbing us with no weapon. So let's just talk about what happened here. So immediately, this is turned into a conversation with the writer and the reader. And that's obviously connects emotionally. But what he's doing over here, he's talking about his dad, and he's kind of claiming that in the story that the dad would tell the Christmas tree guy that you're robbing us, right? And then look at what he does over here. Here's why you're going to feel like you've done the same to us. So essentially he's saying here's why you'll feel you've robbed us, which is you're getting this incredible value. Now this is a very genius strategy because the most important blocker of sales is when the consumer is unsure about the value they're going to get. And so communicating that value, price justification is the key component. So by saying that, he's basically telling them you're getting a better end over here. And now he's kind of explaining why that is, right? Torture tested. Again, I really like this. This talks about the fact that they've dropped it 15,000 times. This is great. Texas stuff. Again, they're playing on this idea. They're talking about this element that they've included into it, into their weight. So I just think this copies really well, goes really well. Now they've got a video over here, and so the video shows the product, and so I like how it's kind of blended into the written description. Then they talk about their warranty, because at the end of the sales page, what are people concerned about? They're concerned about, like, what if I don't like it? I'm sold by the sales pitch, so the placement is perfect. And again, they're talking about now this whole Austin, Texas stuff idea, which I think is a very clever idea. Trust me, it's a very, very clever idea, where the consumer feels that, oh, I don't know where this is manufactured, who these people are. By actually talking about a state, I'm actually immediately feeling like this is a company I can trust. Then they have social proof over here. So I think that's really good as well. Fringe it, forget it. So again, they're talking about I just think these details are really, really good. Then they have their specs over here. Let's see what else. I like this section as well, because they're saying what type of user would be using these different kinds of weights. So I think this is very useful for someone who is, new to weights. And I want to show you, there's another video that they've inserted over here, which I think is, again, good idea. And then they kind of top it off with FAQs, which I think is brilliant, because now these are the questions that people are asking. So anyway, I wanted to share this. I think this is a really well done product page. And I think there's a bunch of ideas here that you can steal. And I hope this helps. Tell me what you think about this.